All right, folks, welcome back to the Crisis Report. This is your brief for August 3rd, 2025. We've got a lot to talk about. There's been more activity from the Kamchatka Peninsula with the earthquakes and volcanoes and everything else. And the seismic activity all over the world is seemingly ramping up. And then, of course, there was other things going on. There's a lot of pressure going on to Hamas. And it seems the Russians are having some pretty major breakthroughs on what is going on in the SMO in Eastern Europe. So this message is brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. Please check them out. They're in the link in the description for the affiliate page on how to learn about what they got going on. You sign up for a learning little session, they tell you, and then from there, if you sign up, they take your IRA and they put it into gold and silver. And the Precious Metals is a very highly rated company. So check them out. This message is brought by them. Thank you for being here. This is your Crisis Report brief for August 3rd, 2025. You can find this on Substack, and we'll have a link in this description as well. Here we go. China and Russia have started joint drills in the Sea of Japan. Krasnininkov volcano, Kamchatka, Russia has erupted for the first time in almost 600 years. Powerful tsunami has slammed into Kamchatka after the massive 8.8 earthquake struck offshore from July 30th, so a lot of people are worried that this seismic activity is going to continue. Thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters have attended a rally in Sydney, Australia. Top Trump aide Miller has accused India of financing Russia's war in Ukraine. Taiwan's deputy foreign minister has warned that China is preparing to invade Taiwan. Welcome to Sunday. 7 magnitude earthquake hit Russia's Kuril Island. OPEC countries have agreed to increase oil production by 548,000 barrels per day starting in September, a move aimed at stabilizing the market amid concerns about U.S. pressure on countries that buy Russian oil, according to Reuters. Macron has now put forward his terms to recognize the state of Palestine. Hamas put down its weapons is number one. Number two, Hamas is not included in the government of Palestine. And number three, the state of Palestine should recognize the state of Israel. Netanyahu says he has requested the intervention of the Red Cross to help release the hostages from Gaza following the visuals of starving hostages. Cambodian Ministry of Defense says Thailand is preparing for an imminent military operation, possibly breaking the ceasefire. India should pay out the nose for buying Russian oil. That was threatened by Representative for Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District, Don Bacon. Staunch Trump supporter and Congresswoman MTG says younger Republicans voters continue to falter as wars and conflicts continue. She said in 2024, the America voted so to end funding and fighting foreign wars, funding, fueling, ultimately fighting Russia and Ukraine, be a complete betrayal of the majority of Americans who want nothing to do with paying to take out people in some foreign land over a foreign conflict that has absolutely zero effect on our lives. Same scenario goes for continuing to fund and fight offensive wars on behalf of the secular government of nuclear-armed Israel. Republicans will lose the younger generation of voters and may never get them back. Not that they will necessarily flip Democrat, because Democrats 100% support the war in Ukraine because it was really started under Obama and Biden. It's a Democrat-driven war that also amassed the usual neocon Republican support, she said. Hamas spokesperson Abu Obaida says the hostages are not going to be receiving any special treatment, and if the Gazans are starving, so do the hostages. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has just said that Fed Chair Jerome Powell's replacement is coming. We are putting together a very good list of candidates, and remember, there are going to be 2 seats opening up. There was another person that resigned earlier today. European banks are immediately freezing all assets and bank accounts linked to Supreme Federal Court Justice Alexander de Moraes in Brazil, based on the Magnitsky Act sanctions imposed against him by the U.S. government. So far, 5 accounts connected to the minister have been suspended. U.S. believes it has 1 year before it will be forced to take action against Iran's nuclear program. Sources say that Washington does not want to give Tehran the opportunity to rebuild its power. Cincinnati woman attacked by a mob at the Jazz Fest has broken her silence, revealing she is still suffering from severe brain trauma. She does not look good, by the way. Representative Jasmine Crockett is panicking because the GOP's new Texas House map reportedly is redrawing her out of her district she lives in. British government disinformation unit has been using tools designed for British counter-terrorism to monitor criticism of asylum hotels. A new key survey shows over 70% of foreigners visiting Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum feel the bombings were unjustified, with 2024 seeing the highest number of foreign visitors since its opening in 1955. Comes in the run-up to the commemorative events for the 80th anniversary of the bombings on August 6th and 9th. Russian army has broken through to Seversk in the Seversk direction near the border of the DPR and LPR. Russian troops have broken through to the city of Seversk from the east of Verkhneyevsky and reached the outskirts of the city. Russians have captured a number of positions, in fact, already front of Seversk itself, Ukrainian military analysts have admitted. These are your top 10 normie headlines for August 3rd, 2025. Stocks have tumbled on tariffs and weak job data. U.S. markets plunge as new Trump-imposed tariffs in July's disappointment payroll report drove a sharp sell-off in the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. That, of course, is Friday. Fed holds rates steady. Dissent grows. Federal Reserve remains rates at 4.25 to 4.5%, though 2 governors dissented in favor of cuts, heightening speculation of a rate cut in September. Treasury officials signal upcoming Fed leadership changes. Governor Adriana Kugler announced she will resign effective August 8th, paving the way for Trump's appointment of a successor and potential policy shifts. OPEC has agreed to major oil output increases. Group will boost production by over 500,000 barrels per day in September. UAE getting additional capacity, aiming to regain lost market share. UN has warned famine in Gaza as the deaths are climbing. 6 more Palestinians died malnutrition in Gaza in the past 24 hours, bringing the total to 175 as humanitarian relief remains severely constrained. Itamar Ben-Gvir prays at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, igniting tensions. Israel's far-right national security minister visited the Flashpoint Al-Aqsa Mosque, breaking long-standing protocols and raising regional alarm. Mass protests in Sydney have demanded that Gaza aid and peace for them. Tens of thousands have marched across Sydney Harbour Bridge in pouring rain, pressing for humanitarian relief and political pressure on Israel. White House defends firing of top labor statistician. Officials justify the dismissal of the Bureau of Labor Statistics head amid criticism of data integrity and calls for congressional investigation. Swiss government may revise U.S. tariff offer. Switzerland is considering updates to its trade proposals after being hit with a 39% U.S. tariff, move that has sparked concerns of over job losses and recession risk. And Trump aide accuses India of financing Russia's war via oil imports. U.S. Deputy Chief of Staff claimed India is effectively funding Russia's war in Ukraine by continuing to import Russian oil. That is your crisis report brief for August 3rd, 2025. Join us tonight for a longer version of this. God bless you all. Please hit the like button and subscribe, share it out. And of course, if you like what we're doing here, support over here and on PrepperNow has never been more important. You can join us as a member. You can join us at other places like Subscribestar and Locals. You can join us on Gab, Minds, X, Twitter, and Truth. Friends, other than that, we are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. We appreciate you being a part of the community. God bless you all, and we will see you on the next one.